Hello and welcome to another Bible quiz video. My name is Lachlan, I'm your quiz host today, and we're going to go through some multiple choice questions all centered around the Bible. Then we're going to reveal the answer as well as the Bible verse or passage that answer came from. So hope you're paying attention and let's see how many you can get right. Question number 1 for us today is, according to the book of Jeremiah, where did God declare he would write his covenant with the people of Israel? Was it on new tablets, on their hearts, or on the scrolls? The correct answer is on their hearts, and in Jeremiah 31 verse 33 it says, "This is the covenant I will make with the people of Israel after that time, declares the Lord. I will put my law in their minds and write it on their hearts." Question number 2. What do you obtain when you find a wife? Is it favor from God, love from God, or wisdom from God? The correct answer is favor from God, and in Proverbs 18 verse 22 it says, "He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord." Question number 3. Which prophet foretold the killing of male children in Bethlehem when Christ was born? Was it Micah, Jeremiah, or Isaiah? The correct answer is Jeremiah, and in Matthew 2 verse 16 to 18 it says, "He, Herod, gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem who were 2 years old and under. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children." Question number 4. What was Jesus teaching when he used the parable of sorting the good and the bad fish? Was it the fall of humanity, the end of the age, or the loss of love? The correct answer is the end of the age, and in Matthew 13 verse 47 to 49 it says, "The kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. The fishermen pulled it up on the shore, then they sat down and collected the good fish in baskets but threw the bad away. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous." Question number 5. Where were David and his men hiding when he cut the edge of King Saul's garment? Was it En-gedi, Bigthan, or Terek? Correct answer is En-gedi, and in 1 Samuel 24 1 to 4 it says, "After Saul returned from pursuing the Philistines, he was told, 'David is in the desert of En-gedi.' A cave was there, and Saul went in to relieve himself. David and his men were far back in the cave. Then David crept up and cut off a corner of Saul's robe." Question number 6. Which gospel says that the miracles of Jesus were so many they could not fit all the books in the world? Was it Mark, John, or Luke? The correct answer is John, and in John 21 verse 25 it says, "Jesus did many other things as well, and if every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written." Question number 7. According to the Old Testament law, what was to be done to meat killed by wild animals? Was it cook it well, thrown to the dogs, or leave it for the foreigners? The correct answer is thrown to the dogs. And in Exodus 22 verse 31 it says, "You are to be my holy people, so do not eat the meat of an animal torn by wild beasts, throw it to the dogs." Question number 8. Who objected to the notice fastened on the cross that Jesus was the King of the Jews? Was it the Sadducees, the Pharisees, or the chief priests? The correct answer is the chief priests, and in John 19 verse 21 it says, "The chief priests of the Jews protested to Pilate, 'Do not write the King of the Jews, but that this man claimed to be the King of the Jews.'" Question number 9. Where was the prophet Samuel buried? Was it Gilgal, Ramah, or Bethel? The correct answer is Ramah, and in 1 Samuel 25 verse 1 it says, "Now Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and mourned for him, and they buried him at his home in Ramah." Question number 10. In the book of Revelation, how many elders were seated and worshipped around the throne of God? Was it 144, 7, or 24? Correct answer is 24, and in Revelations 4 verse 10 it says, "The 24 elders fell down before him who sits on the throne and worship him who lives forever and ever. They lay their crowns down before the throne and say, 'You are worthy, our Lord and God, to receive glory and honor and power.'" Question number 11. Judah slept with his daughter-in-law Tamar because he thought she was a blank. Is that blank prostitute, temple priest, or widow? The correct answer is prostitute, and in Genesis 38 verse 13 to 15 it says, "When Tamar was told, 'Your father-in-law is on his way to Timnah to shear his sheep,' she took off her widow's clothes and covered herself with a veil to disguise herself. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face, not realizing she was his daughter-in-law." Question number 12. For how long was the invalid lying near the temple pool that had healing powers? Was it 38 years, 12 years, or 7 years? The correct answer is 38 years, and in Genesis 12, verse 11 to 13, it says, "Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool where a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. Question number 13. Which kinds of idols did King Jeroboam make at Bethel and Dan? Was it 2 bronze serpents, 2 silverfish, or 2 golden calves? The correct answer is 2 golden calves, and in 1 Kings 12 verse 28-29 it says, "After seeking advice, the king made 2 golden calves, one he set up in Bethel and the other in Dan." Question number 14. Who accused Jesus of driving demons by Beelzebub, the prince of devils? Was it the Sadducees, the Pharisees, or the scribes? The correct answer is the Pharisees, and in Matthew 12 verse 24 it says, "But when the Pharisees heard this, they said, 'It is only by Beelzebul, the prince of demons, that this fellow drives out demons.'" Question number 15. When Noah came out of the floods, what was the first thing he did? Fed the animals, built a house, or built an altar? The correct answer is built an altar, and in Genesis 8 verse 18 to 20 it says, "So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it." Question number 16. What was Saul's demand from David as dowry payment for his daughter Michal? Was it 100 gold coins, 100 sheep, or 100 Philistine foreskins? The correct answer is 100 Philistine foreskins, and in 1 Samuel 18 verse 25 it says, "Saul replied, 'Say to David, the king wants no other price for the bride than 100 Philistine foreskins to take revenge on his enemies.' Saul planned to have David fall by the hands of the Philistines." Question number 17. According to the book of John, why was it necessary for Jesus to depart from his disciples? Was it to allow the Comforter to come, to discipline them, or to prepare mansions in heaven? The correct answer is to allow the Comforter to come, and in John 16 verse 7 it says, "But I tell you the truth, it is to your advantage that I go away, for if I don't go away, the Comforter will not come to you. However, if I do go, I will send him to you." Question number 18. What is the name of the Edomite ordered by King Saul to kill the priests of Nob? Was it Doeg, Magdiel, or Haman? The correct answer is Doeg, and in 1 Samuel 22 verse 18 it says, "The king then ordered Doeg, 'You turn and strike down the priests.' So Doeg the Edomite turned and struck them down, and that day he killed 85 men who wore the linen ephod." Question number 19. How long were the locusts that stung like scorpions in the book of Revelation allowed to torment the unrepentant? Was it 5 months, 5 days, or 5 weeks? The correct answer is 5 months, and in Revelation 9 verse 5 it says they were not allowed to kill them but only to torture them for 5 months, and the agony they suffered was like that of the sting of a scorpion when it strikes. Question number 20. Blessed is he whose sin is blank and transgressions blank. Are those 2 blanks small and forgotten, forgiven and covered, or known and forgotten? The correct answer is forgiven and covered, and in Psalm 32 verse 1 it says, "Blessed is the one whose transgressions are forgiven and whose sins are covered." Question number 21. Which tribe supplied the workers to maintain the tabernacle? Was it Judah, Levi, or Benjamin? The Correct answer is Levi, and in Numbers 3 verse 5 to 7 it says, "The Lord said to Moses, bring the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron the priest to assist him. They are to perform duties for him and for the whole community at the tent of meeting by doing the work of the tabernacle." Question number 22. What congregation does Paul urge to put on the whole armor of God? Is it Ephesians, Galatians, or Corinthians? The correct answer is Ephesians, and in Ephesians 6 verse 11 it says, "Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's evil schemes." Question number 23. When Peter preached on the day of Pentecost, how many were baptized and added to the early church? Was it 3,000, 300, or 30? The correct answer is 3,000, and in Acts chapter 2 verse 41 it says, "Those who accepted his message were baptized, and about 3,000 were added to their number that day." Question number 24. Who is the judge who held court under a palm tree between Ramah and Bethel? Was it Deborah, Gideon, or Othniel? The correct answer is Deborah, and in Judges 4 verse 4 and 5 it says, "Now Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at that time. She held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went up to her to have their disputes decided." Question number 25. The light in New Jerusalem is provided by blank. Is that blank the sun, the glory of God, or the moon? The correct answer is the glory of God, and in Revelations 21 verse 23 it says, "The city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it the light, and the Lamb is its lamp." Question number 26. What were the disciples of Jesus doing while he talked with the Samaritan woman? Were they buying food, preaching, or fishing? The correct answer is buying food, and in John chapter 4 verse 7 and 8 it says, "When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, 'Will you give me a drink?' His disciples had gone into the town to buy food." Question number 27. Which king was warned by God not to touch Sarai, Abram's wife? Was it Hiram, Abimelech, or Ephron? The correct answer is Abimelech, and in Genesis 20 verse 2 and 3 it says, "There Abraham said of his wife Sarah, 'She is my sister.' Then Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her, but God came to Abimelech in a dream one night and said to him, 'You are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman.'" Question number 28. Why did Pilate wash his hands before the multitude accusing Jesus? Was it to show his innocence, to show his displeasure, or to show his embarrassment? The correct answer is to show his innocence, and in Matthew 27 verse 24 says, "When Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd, saying, 'I'm innocent of this man's blood. It is your responsibility.'" Question number 29. What troubled Saul when the Spirit of God departed from him? Was it David, an evil spirit, or the Philistines? The correct answer is an evil spirit, and in 1 Samuel 16 verse 14 we read, "Now the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord tormented him." Question number 30. The Good Samaritan asked the innkeeper to take care of the wounded man while he was away. How much money did he leave behind for upkeep? Was it 2 mites, 2 denarii, or 2 shekels? The correct answer is 2 denarii, and in Luke 10 verse 35 it says, "The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. 'Look after him,' he said, 'and when I return I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have.'" Question number 31. How often did the high priest enter the most holy place? Was it once a month, once a year, or once a day? The correct answer is once a year, and in Hebrews 9 verse 7 it says, "But only the high priest entered the inner room, and that only once a year, and never without blood, which he offered for himself and for the sins the people had committed in ignorance." Question number 32. Why are fathers cautioned against provoking their children? Is it because they may run away, they may hate others, or they may be discouraged? The correct answer is they may be discouraged. And in Colossians 3 verse 21 it says, "Fathers, do not embitter your children or they will become discouraged." Question number 33. Let us run patiently the race before us, looking unto Jesus, the blank and the blank of our faith. Are those two blanks giver and rewarder, author and finisher, or creator and bearer? The correct answer is author and finisher. In Hebrews 12 verse 2 it says, "Looking on Jesus, the author and finisher of faith, who having the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and now sitteth on the right hand of the throne of God." Question number 34. How long was the silence when the Lamb opened the seventh seal in heaven? Was it the whole day, 1 hour, or half an hour? The correct answer is half an hour, and in Revelations 8 verse 1 it says, "When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour." Question number 35. What was Joshua's original name? Was it Gul, Hoshea, or Nabi? The correct answer is Hoshea, and in Numbers 13 verse 16 it says, "These are the names of the men Moses sent to explore the land. Moses gave Hoshea, son of Nun, the name Joshua." Question number 36. Ruth, Naomi's daughter-in-law, was from which tribe? Was it Amalek, Moab, or Ammon? The correct answer is Moab, and in Ruth chapter 1 verse 4 and 5 it says they married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left with her 2 sons and husband. Question number 37. 40 days after the resurrection, Jesus rose to heaven. Where did this event take place? Was it Mount Horeb, Mount of Olives, or Mount Sinai? The correct answer is Mount of Olives, and in Acts chapter 1 verse 9 and 12 it says, "Men of Galilee, this same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come back in the same way you have seen him go into heaven." Then the apostles returned to Jerusalem from the hill called the Mount of Olives, a Sabbath day's walk from the city. Question number 38. When Jesus went and lived in Egypt, whose prophecy did it fulfill? Was it Hosea, Jeremiah, or Haggai? The correct answer is Hosea, and in Judges 3 verse 21 to 22 it says, "So he, Joseph, got up, took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet Hosea, out of Egypt I called my son." Question number 39. A cherubim with a flaming sword guarded the way to blank. Was that blank the Tree of Life, the Garden of Eden, or the Ark of the Covenant? The correct answer is the Tree of Life, and in Genesis 3 verse 24 it says, "After he drove the man out, he placed on the east side of the Garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the Tree of Life." Question number 40. According to Proverbs, what do the blessings of the Lord bring a person? Is it wisdom, woe, or wealth? The correct answer is wealth, and in Proverbs 10 verse 22 it says, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it." Thank you for playing this Bible quiz today. Let us know how many you got right out of those 40 questions in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss another quiz when it comes out.